What's up, my friends? Jimmy D here. Today's lesson is our introduction to sus chords or suspended chords. Suspended chords really kind of have their own thing. It's the only time in music that there's no third to a chord. We've learned already that a major chord is the first, third, and fifth note in the scale put together. Anytime those three notes get put together, that's what makes it a major chord. We've learned that a minor chord is the first, flat, third, and fifth put together. Sus chords or suspended chords, the reason why they have their own name is because this is the only time that we don't have a third in a chord. Suspended chords are the first, fourth, and fifth notes in the scale. Or a sus2 chord is the first, second, and fifth notes in the scale. Both have a common thread, which they suspend. Perfect name for the chords, because when you hear them, your ears go, where's this going? You probably wouldn't want to, end a song on a sus chord or play a real long time on a sus chord. We're going to look at the key of, let's take a D chord. So we're going to take a D major chord, and that's our shape. So if we want to turn this into a sus chord, the best way to think of sus chords in my mind is take all of your major shapes and look at the third note in your chord. Because if you find the third and you bring it up one fret, then you will be effectively turning that major chord into a sus chord. If you find a third and you take that note down 2 frets or a whole step, you will be effectively turning that chord into a sus2 chord. So this D chord, our third note is here. And if we bring that up a half step, that is a D sus chord. It's a beautiful chord, but it gives that effect that it really wants to resolve, it wants to go somewhere. So we play a D sus to a D major. If there's our third here, we bring that down a whole step. There's a D sus2. D sus4, D major, D sus2. So, again, this is the only time that we will run into something where there's no third. There's no flatted third, there's no major third, no third at all. This is a different world because it's still 1 and 5, but in between is either a 4 or a 2. That suspension that happens needs to resolve at some point. You wouldn't want to just play D sus4, D sus2, D sus4, D sus2. Because your ears want to go to that major chord. It wants to resolve. Or have movement to a different chord or something. So that's our introduction to suspended chords. It's its own thing. That's why they got their own name. But it's a beautiful tone. Now if we look at the key of C, we take our C shape. If we want to turn that into a sus chord, there's 1, there's 3. Middle finger's 3, so we bring that up a half step. Sus4, C major, D F sus here with the same basic principle. That's our introduction to suspended chords. Again, the theory behind it, which is fairly important to understand because it helps connect it to everything else. First, fourth, and fifth. That's the regular suspended chord. A sus2 chord is the first, second, and fifth. So I hope this lesson has been helpful for you in understanding suspended chords. Thanks so much. Peace. Have a great day.